Y'all, I have spent an obscene amount of time trying to do this. And I can almost guarantee you that it's not gonna stay on for the whole video. This is my channel artwork. Hi, hello, welcome. In case you're new to my channel, my name is Meghan Splawn. I am a freelance food writer, been in food media for almost 20 years in June actually. And this year I'm working to cut my family's food spending in half. In this video, we are going to go over February's food spending report. As a reminder, you can find all of the details from this video, including numbers broken down, a little more detail, links to recipes I mentioned, and resources like food spending tracker, the pantry inventory that might come up in this video, on my newsletter at meghansplawn.substack.com. February was such a weird month. As I'm reflecting on it now, it seemed like it was great, but actually going back through what we spent, through my camera roll to find all the data for this video, I realized that it was actually very low and very high at times. And so I feel especially proud of what I was able to accomplish with our food budget this month. As a reminder, my goal was to spend under $2,000 on food in February. In January, we spent over $3,000, and the goal that we're trying to get to is to be around $1,500 each month for the rest of the year. And we're working towards that goal incrementally. February's food spending total, $1,934.08. So under $2,000, maybe not by a lot, but we still did it. Total weekly grocery spending, $878.44. That is about 46% of our total food spending. And that feels really good. Last month, we way overspent on dining out. This month, dining out was only $383.15 of our budget, about 20%. Bulk grocery spending, $252.42. You might remember that I had planned to only spend $200 at Costco. I did make the mistake of bringing my husband with me. He reminded me that we needed pot stickers for the freezer, and he also did sneak some wine into our cart. I'm not mad about it, but we're definitely over by $52 there. Special shopping spending. This category is usually for holidays or birthdays or for travel expenses. But this month we bought our CSA share for the spring and summer, and that was $399. So I was left over with $1 in our special spending category for the month. And we'll talk about this in future videos, but I consider that a sunk cost. That partnered with spending $200 at Costco every other month, I hope will get us to spending even less on our groceries week to week. March's spending goals. I'm gonna be honest with you, they're a little bit ambitious because not only is March a little bit of a longer month by 3 days, but we also have spring break right in the middle of it, and we're planning a trip to California to visit my brother. He just bought a house there. We haven't visited him since he relocated within California, so that's really exciting. But it might mean that we're spending more on dining out / special spending. Total food budget goal for March, $1,800. I'd like $800 of that to be spent on weekly groceries. That's about $200 a week, which is not terrible and not so far away from what we're currently spending weekly on groceries. Bulk grocery budget is $200. I am planning to reorder coffee in bulk. We did that in January and it saved us money overall throughout the month and kept us from running out of coffee as well. And I'm also going to re-up on soy sauce because we're out and because I'm planning this way. I'm able to invest in a little bit higher quality soy sauce. I'm gonna buy some from the brand called Hey Dough. I won a bottle of it in a giveaway from my friend Hillary's newsletter, What Are We Having? And I loved it so much that I am budgeting for it. And that feels really good. That feels aligned with some of my other goals, like being a good food steward, supporting smaller local companies, although Hato's not local to me, it's very good. Dining out budget is $200. I am considering this to be mostly fast food with my teenage daughter, and we're gonna talk about that. And then our special shopping budget, which will be all of our vacation spending, to be $600. So those are March's spending goals, and I'm very excited to see how we do. February's food spending feeling. Resolute. On the outside, it may not look like we've made this huge progress. Like, we didn't actually cut our budget in half for February, but we did do a lot of things that set us up for success, right? We've been tracking our spending since January. And as a reminder, I'm using the food spending tracker that I built that you can access on my newsletter. I'm also using a Hobonichi Weeks to track all of our spending and also journal about my feelings around our spending. And keeping up with that habit is keeping me in check with my feelings and keeping me from overspending from a place of like feeling stressed or feeling sad, and also keeping me on track because I'm checking in with our budget every week and I can spot when we're overspending in certain areas and make adjustments. We also cleaned out our pantry, both freezers, and have continued on a habit of cleaning out the fridge every Thursday before trash day on Friday, so that things can either be frozen or I can create a plan on my meal plan for using those things up. And that's prevented a lot of food waste and also kept me from overbuying. In fact, this whole week, at the time of filming this video, the last week of February, I am not buying any groceries at all. I'm just using up what we have in the fridge, in our freezer, in the pantry, and that's saving me about $250 that I might have spent otherwise and kept me under budget for the month. So those small incremental changes and habits, like I think I'm gonna continue a no buy week at the end of each month, are going to make a bigger, more sustainable difference over time as we continue on this project. Remember, we have a whole year to get to our savings goal. February's food spending highs and lows. This is one of my favorite parts. Largest grocery expense. $399 spent on our CSA, which is kind of a hard pill to swallow because it's not like we get to eat those groceries right now. There'll be a sunk cost later on, but that's $400 I could have spent on eating out, on coffee, on bulk groceries. But I am planning for the future in a way that aligns with some of my other goals in keeping my food spending local. Another large grocery expense that I just feel like I should highlight is that we spent $302 at the beginning of February, that very first week. I think part of that was, wow, we had a really rough weekend. The first weekend of February, our basement flooded. We have an old house, plumbing issues are regular. And in the cleanup process of the basement flooding, I stubbed my toe badly. I'm pretty sure it was broken. It's feeling okay now. Thank you for asking. In addition to the house stuff that we had going on, which included we had to call out pest control, we also had some big feelings from our teenager. And I think I went to the grocery store in not a great mindset because my list was actually really short and I think I just overspent on treats and some convenience food because I was feeling kind of sorry for myself. And maybe that wasn't the greatest foot to start February off on, but later in the month when I could have excused more of that old repeated pattern, I didn't. I stuck to our meal plan. I fed us from things that were already in our kitchen, and that felt really good. My smallest grocery expense was $21 at Food City, which is a local to us grocery chain, for heart-shaped marshmallows and candy for my son's classroom Valentine's. He requested that we make candy salad, which we did last year and was such a huge hit. I still had the bags and the stickers that we used for labels on hand. So really my only investment in the project was my time and shopping for the candy, which I do think I spent about $50 overall between that very large grocery shop and the extra Food City stop. But feels well worth it. My son helped me in making the Valentines, so it was time spent together. And then he was really proud of those Valentines. And it felt like a nice little closing ceremony, going out with a bang, as he is in 5th grade. And I don't think he will continue to do classroom Valentines when he gets into middle school. Number of fast food purchases. Reminder that I'm tracking this because it's one of the places that we tend to overspend and that I'd like to shift our money from chains to local restaurants. Without sharing too much of my teen daughter's business, it is one of her favorite things to do, to like get out of the house, go on a car ride, listen to music, and usually we get food while we're out. And while we're working on some dupes of some of our favorite fast food things, I don't know that we figured out what a replacement activity might be for that. And so again, that's actually more fast food purchases in February than it was in January. And in March, I'd like to cut that number in half and figure out diverting that spending to something local. Largest single meal expense was on our family Valentine's dinner. We have a tradition, usually we do steak frites. I sent my husband to the store and he ended up buying tri-tip, which was a great alternative. Cost per ounce was better. We had lots of leftovers. Everyone was well fed. But what was funny is I asked him to get a cut of meat, steaks or tri-tip, heavy cream and chocolate. The heavy cream and chocolate were to make this 2-ingredient chocolate mousse recipe that I have on thekitchen.com. And when he came back, he had tri-tip, heavy cream, beers to go with dinner, and no chocolate. I ended up being really scrappy and pulling bits of chocolate from our candy jar and made the chocolate mousse work. And then ironically, I think I was the only one who ate chocolate mousse on Valentine's because everyone else ended up opening their Valentine chocolates instead and eating those for dessert. We call this next segment Money Well Spent. It's meals I loved from February, a combination of eating out, investments I made in food, and just recipes that my family really loved. I'm just gonna keep mentioning it. Maybe because I'm repressing some feelings around spending $400 on our CSA and not having anything to show for it. But I'm very excited to do weekly pickups, starting usually in April or May. A classroom candy salad was also money well spent. I enjoyed the time with my son. He felt really proud of it and it was really cute. And we had leftovers that we got to enjoy too. Valentine's Day tri-tip and chocolate mousse. I will link to all of these recipes in this week's newsletter, which you can find on megansplawn.substack.com. I love tri-tip. It's such a great cut of meat. It can be economical. It's pretty easy to cook. And then the chocolate mousse is just 2 ingredients. You whip heavy cream and then fold in melted chocolate and it sets up beautifully in the fridge. And usually you have a little leftover whipped cream to top the chocolate mousse as well. Great party trick. Pizza bubbles. This was a surprise sleeper hit of the month. I got this assignment from simplyrecipes.com to test this shortcut recipe for Pillsbury biscuits enrobed in pizza sauce and topped with pizza cheese. And because I was testing it out to see if my family liked it, we ended up making it twice. And then I had leftover ingredients when my son had friends over one day when there was no school. And so that ended up feeding them as well. And it is a very inexpensive recipe and makes enough to feed either a family of 4 or a whole group of tweens from the neighborhood. One of my favorite weeknight dinners that we had in February was this Dijon salmon and crispy potato recipe from Simple Home Edit. It is a little more labor than just doing a sheet pan meal because you boil the potatoes first, but then the potatoes are super crispy. And then the Dijon salmon is very delicious, very easy. I like to buy salmon at Aldi. It's regularly on sale there, super affordable. You can buy a whole side and portion it and freeze it, or buy 2 smaller portions, and that usually is enough to feed my family of 4. Girl Scout cookies. Wouldn't be spring without getting to indulge in tagalongs, thin mints, Samoas. We also got adventurefuls this year, which were new to me and quite delicious. I did spend $24 on cookies. Supporting young entrepreneurs. Last but not least, one of my favorite meals of February was going out to have nachos and margaritas with my friend Jennifer at this local spot called Mean Jeans. Their nachos are delicious. They're like so high. And we laughed together. I cried like a lot. And then we tried to get Tums from their Tums candy machine, only to learn that the coin operation is broken, but also the top of the Tums machine is loose, so you could just help yourself. I did lose 25 cents, but it felt worth it. In March, we'll be talking about meal planning as a tool for saving money. I've got a great copycat Panera recipe coming your way. And I will be back again at the end of March to share all of the details of whether I meet my very ambitious budget of $1,800 for food spending, even with a family trip in the middle of it. So be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode here on YouTube, and head on over to my newsletter, megansplawn.substack.com, where you can find all of the recipes I mentioned in this episode, along with some really great food budgeting tools, including our food spending tracker, a goal planning worksheet, and a couple of food inventory tools to help you get your own pantry, fridge, and freezers organized. I love having you here. Thank you so much for supporting my work. I'll see you soon. Don't worry, I spent plenty of money on Daisy's treats.